indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The prayer today is a morning prayer. Your word, O Lord, is a lamp to my feet and a light for my path. Dear Jesus, keep us safely in your loving arms. Bless me with your peace that passes all understanding. In Jesus' name I pray.
Unleashed inflation that has wrecked our economy, has driven gasoline prices,
That's a 5 out of 5 right there.
Alrighty, Jerry. So on July 22nd, I concurred with the Newberry Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on the liquor license being requested by Newberry Petroleum LLC, located at 12411 Kinsman Road, Newberry, Ohio.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, today's financials include cash transfers to the Board of DD for gas well proceeds from April through June of 2024, and from the general fund to community development, Metzabom, and Board of Elections for the second quarter 2024 interest transfer. Among the encumbrances are travels from the Common Pleas Court to attend the Ohio Association of Magistrates Fall Conference, and from engineering to attend the County Engineers Association of Ohio 2024 Bridge Conference. Among the vouchers is $125,604.44 from ADP to CDW Government Incorporated for the county's CrowdStrike computer endpoint user protection services renewal, which we paid $114,070.08 for in 2023. $416,223.28 from the engineer's office to Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Bell Street sections D through F in Newberry, and $311,412.10 from the engineer's office to Cole Burton Contractors LLC for the asphalt resurfacing of Fairmount Road sections F through G.
So move.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm requesting to approve the hiring of Kimberly Yarnisick to our position of social services worker to start on August 5th at $22.56 an hour. She comes with over 13 years of social work experience, case management experience, so we're very excited to have an experienced individual come our direction.
So move.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I am here to request that the Board of Commissioners continue to support the mutual funding agreement between the Board of the County Commissioners, the Geauga County Job and Family Services, Geauga County Board of ED, and Geauga County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services, which allows Family First to support the needs of middle-class families in Geauga County. It's the same funding that has been, I think, for quite a few years, and no changes.
Yep. We've always, been supportive of this board, and I ask every year if, it's a small contribution to a bigger piece of the pie, I think, coming from the general fund, and I always ask every year if this is a acceptable amount, and I'm sure that you guys have reviewed it and continue on. Yeah.
Definitely. It definitely works for us. We continue to be able to serve the families of Geauga County with that contribution.
Okay, very good. All right, so move.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bring it easy on him. Well, first of all, I want to thank you to your continued support of Family First Council. Tim, I know you've been a big, part of it historically, but
Yeah.
our Tim has done a phenomenal job with Family First, really has, and now we have Lori, who's on board there. She's really stepped up and done a great job. So first of all, I want to continue to thank you for that support. We know it's not, anything that's statutorily mandated or anything like that, but it's really important for the community.
Yeah.
Now, I'm here as a redo from last week. It's the same resolution we did last week. There was a typo on the date on the resolution. So we're asking to approve the resolution, the certificate of need for our renewal of our .5 levy. Again, it's just a renewal. We cleared it up last week. There's a new amount that is going to be significantly increased because of taxes or anything like that. So it's a renewal over .5 levy.
And just which line would this go into? Is this for Child Protective Service?
Yep.
Yeah.
We have two, JFS for Children's Services has two operating levies. One is a .7 qualified levy and one is a .5 levy that was initiated in 2015. That was a new levy in 2015. They have both since been renewed. As you know, we have suspended collection on our levy when we felt that it was appropriate and not collected on certain, on the .5 in years when we felt like it wasn't a need. As you know, that JFS and especially Children's Services, it kind of can be an ebb and flow with whether it's the economy, whether it's an opiate epidemic or an upcoming epidemic that we don't know about, mostly the levy dollars go towards placement costs of children that are in custody, that are in residential treatment, is really the large part of where these costs go. So we just really don't have we can't guarantee or know or estimate what our costs are going to be in any given year, just depending on, again, the economy or if there's any kind of epidemic or drug issue that's going on. So, but we will suspend it if it's, again, something that we feel like we don't need, or we will collect it, obviously, if we feel like it's something that we do need. But we want to be responsible and respectful of the taxpayer dollars.
And I think you have for sure demonstrated that. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Morning.
Good morning.
Here to redo the window cleaning service bid. So we're requesting the board grant permission to advertise for bids for the 2024 to 27 county window cleaning service contract. Bid opening is going to be held Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, 2 p.m. And we'll be advertising this bid opening August 1st and August 8th.
Great. What buildings?
All of them.
Oh,
All of them. Yep.
Very good. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Item number 7 is the first change order request for the courthouse project, an amount of $9,562. This is a lot of minor issues, things that have found that could be bigger than the existing courthouse. And we thought the cost and changes to the design, there's a credit because we're reusing the equipment from the existing courtrooms and the new courtrooms. Small sizes, deck heights, things like that that were unforeseen issues that came up. And another one was there was an additional opening in the basement that nobody knew about that we now have to fill in. So
Yeah.
this is just for those minor items that have come up.
And I think that's somewhat to be expected on a, addition onto an old building like this. And they said that this is a possibility going in, but, some of the unforeseen things behind walls and whatnot that we may run into, so. Okay.
The good thing is we're done with all the excavating, so we shouldn't be finding anything new.
Okay, very good. So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Jerry, are we running a tab to see what the total is going to be that this project is, all these add-ons that, you know?
We're keeping track of it as we go along. I don't have that number in front of me right now, but I can get that for you.
Okay. Just to see what kind of percentage of an increase it's gonna end up costing us.
So this one,
Some of that will depend on these next two change orders also, as well as there's a change order that maybe that we're looking at right now, which is the possibility of replacing the existing roof on the existing courthouse. Because the way they had to go back into the existing roof, it might be better suited replacing that now rather than waiting a couple of years to have that replaced. But that has not been finalized yet.
yeah, well, that sounds like a pretty large decision there. I'm sure it's,
And that's something I will bring before the board.
yeah. But for this particular line item, this was $9,500, or $1,562.
Yes. So, and item number 8 is a change order number 2 request. This is for additional, this is for networking equipment and the installation of the networking equipment at the courthouse expansion. This is the design of the network within the courthouse for the new expansion, the amount of $210,346. This will be for the AV equipment, or the IT equipment. And,
All the IT.
Yeah.
And that was not figured in prior to the design for this project?
No, because we didn't really know what all that,
What they're
all
gonna
that was
do.
gonna be
Okay.
needed.
Okay. And, I mean, I know that looks like a pretty big number there, but I think, for that size courthouse and all everything that needs to be included in there, that's probably not that bad, really.
Right, until we had a final layout and design of the building, we really didn't know what, IT necessities would be.
Yeah, and we could, I'm imagining, or I would imagine that this was all approved through ADP, or at least
This is
IT looked at it.
working through with ADP and the core IT.
Okay, and they signed off on all this?
But if they some,
Yep, so we worked with Andy Haynes, he assisted us in developing this.
Okay,
So this is all owner network equipment, so this is not typically in a CM's contract.
okay. yeah,
So we
okay.
worked with Frank and Andy and Belta, and they helped us develop the full list.
Okay,
And rather than bid this out separately down the line, have somebody else order and install it,
gotcha.
I think it's only about 10,000 of that is actually labor for
Okay.
Infinity. We wanted on them to order it and bring it into the building and rack it.
Mhm.
That way we know it goes according to schedule.
Okay,
And then Frank and Andy's team is gonna work with us to actually patch everything and get it all configured, so that saved us some cost there.
great. Okay,
So-
that sounds great.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
and then the third item, or number 9, is the change order request number 3. This is a request that's made, for additional data drops within the existing building. The initial design was basically for one data drop per office, per room, per different areas, and there's been a request for a redundancy of a second drop in case in the future the offices or furniture are moved around, or they need to add a printer or something like that in those rooms. I question this one as to the necessity of it, given that the building is, got drop ceilings and, mostly hollow walls, so to rerun wire and that with the drops for IT doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal down the road, rather than spending an additional almost $73,000 now for things that may never be used, unless that office gets, the offices get relined or added equipment in them.
Right. Are you able to say definitively if we, sometimes doing these projects ahead of time is saving money, or is this just an add-on option?
Yeah, so I want to support TDA here. They did a great job at designing the building to fit all the immediate needs and the equipment that we currently have. So all those data drops are accounted for, they're in the building.
And as you guys know, today's day and age, everything's lean construction. You try to build it as such. But, you know, to Beltz's point and ADP's point, they're trying to look out for, in the future, if you rearrange an office, they would prefer a data drop on the opposite side. But we also have to keep in mind that we design our furniture plans specifically to fit data drop locations.
Right.
So everything is designed and incorporated to what is currently in the plans. These additional data drops could be beneficial to the team. I can't speak, I'm not an end user,
Right.
so I can't give that input, but they are all additional data drop needs. So nothing that is 100% required the day we open, but there is definitely a need for it in the future, so.
Okay, well,
I think maybe if you do this 4 or 5 years down the road, it's gonna cost about $160,000.
Everything's more expensive if you're reopening
wait.
ceilings and walls.
yeah, that's if you do it all.
You redo every one of them.
Yeah, right, I guess if you did it all, yeah.
And these quantities, we did have probably 3 separate meetings with Belta, Andy, Frank, and the rest of the team where they located all these data drops, so.
Okay.
This, in my opinion, should be the absolute maximum needed data drops.
And this is going into the new addition, or is this in the old?
The addition across all floors.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is one kind of log on the pile, I guess, and I guess to Commissioner Spitaleri's question earlier, you know, the tally of this project in that it's, you know, I believed when we started this a few years back, or whatever it's been now, that we did have a budget in mind, and I'd like to see where we're at compared to that budget. You know, how far out of line, if we are out of line, or getting close to the line. Because, you know, these change orders do add up if this is gonna continue, so I would say, you know, for wanting to stay conservative in our approach, then, you know, these type of add-ons get done later, but if it's something that we have excess funds within our budget, then, you know, maybe this is the time to do it, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent either way on this, so I don't know, I'll kind of lean on you guys to your opinions.
Well, I'll make a motion to pass the
Okay,
item number 9.
okay, all right, I'll second.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Okay, and then item number 10 is payment request number 10 for the courthouse project in the amount of $453,727.06.
Okay, and, you know, I'd like to see an accounting of where we're at today, if we could get that. And where the budget, because, you know, in my mind, we were at about a $15 million budget, correct?
That was the
Roughly.
yeah, the one we're looking at when we had the agreement with the city of Charlotte.
Yeah, so I would imagine we're not gonna go over that number, correct?
This will bring us, this payment will bring us to $3,036,286.99. Paid out on the project.
All right, so moved?
Second.
Commissioner Warren?
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Do you have anything, Gary?
The only thing I have is just to bring you up to speed on where we're at with the juvenile detention center. I have been in contact again with the Portage County Administrator, and I kind of basically told her yesterday, look, we're looking to be out of this on the 31st, whether her commissioners want to keep dragging their feet or not. That, you know, and I've asked the prosecutors, I've asked Laura to look into whether we can, you know, pass a resolution to just get out of that as of July 31st, and then, you know, go through the courts to determine the reimbursement or the payment that Portage would owe Geauga for getting out of there with regards to the value of the building. So she's looking into that for me. But I basically kind of more or less told the county administrator that, you know, if we're not, we have a week to have another meeting, to get this done by July 31st, but they've been hesitant about having a meeting with a joint meeting to kind of iron all this out. So I, you know, kind of to go a little bit heavy-handed, I basically said, look, the only route then for us, it seems to be, is for the county, is for Geauga County to get out of it and then sue Portage for the value of the Geauga County's value of the bill, value portion of the bill.
So I reached out to Commissioner Tinley yesterday, you know, just to basically ask him, you know, where are we at with this? Because Judge Brendel had also, you know, inquired as far as the agreement that we have with Lake County. And, you know, said, where do we stand? And I basically told him we were basically hearing, you know, nothing but crickets with this from Portage. So I reached out to Commissioner Tinlin from Portage yesterday, and I told him, I said, first of all, we didn't get our reimbursement check that we probably approved almost, what, Jim's?
3 months, almost 3 months.
Almost 3 months. And he said, I totally agree with you, and he says, and I voted to support you guys on that also, that I, you know, we'll try to figure out where that's at.
That was the additional carryover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, so then I asked him, I said, you know, since our county administrator's been trying to reach out to your county administrator, I said to get an answer, I go, and we're not hearing anything back. And he basically, his reply to me was, is that, you know, we're not moving on anything here real fast, and that he basically was told that, their county administrator is handling it, and that they should just basically stay in a position to not even discuss it. So it sounds to me that it's just, you know, they know that, you know, this potentially is a financial situation that could, you know, cause them a certain amount of payback to us, or what the situation is, I don't know. But what I would like to try to do is to try to figure out is whether we need to make a motion or do something to contact the, you know, prosecutor's office on this to try to figure out what the next step is, because from that conversation, I did not feel the warm and fuzzy that this is going to, you know, just be signed off on and done. And, you know, we've got Lake County that's basically reached out already to grant us this contract. They've come back to change that, you know, concern that there was the limit of 5 people. And they've worked with us tremendously. Plus, in addition to that, they have other programming there that Portage does not have that will only benefit, you know, the kids that are going into there. So at the end of the day, we've got to figure out something and get this thing wrapped up. So I don't know if we want to try to reach out to, you know, prosecutor's office to see what the next step is or what we need to do. But I just don't feel like they are, you know, I think they're taking the approach, if we don't talk about it, it's going to go away. We need to just put an end to this somehow, some way.
So have we sent I know we've requested, you know, sent some emails and phone calls and stuff, but have we sent a formal letter from either our prosecutor's office or the commissioners?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
signed off on that,
Okay.
that letter to withdraw.
To withdraw, but I
Mhm.
mean, with any potential action as far as like what the terms or details would be?
Yeah, so the first one, you know, was to move forward with that. Then we basically had that extension
Right.
that we granted until what, the 31st of July? And
Okay.
so I mean, they're very well aware of it.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, you know, is the judge in Portage from, you know, that was just from what I had heard from our judge, is that, you know, she understands and supports the action, and was very accommodating to say if something else that we would need for space or whatever, that we could still work with them.
Right.
So I think this is something that I don't really want to sit on this, especially that reimbursement dollars that we.
Yeah, that's like the separate,
that-
that's
yeah.
almost a
It's already
separate
a separate
matter.
deal, yeah.
That, and knowing too that, you know, one of their own commissioners supported us in that also, that they understood that it was pretty clear. Bottom line is that money is there, and it's ours, and we should be able to get it.
Mhm.
So I guess, what do you guys want to do? How do you feel comfortable proceeding with this?
I think there's a lot of moving parts to this, and we have to stay on it. think it might end up with our county prosecutor working with their county prosecutor. You just have to stay with it.
So to initiate that with the prosecutor, is our prosecutor, is he aware of it, or are they aware of it? I mean, it sounds like Laura's aware of it.
Yeah, they reviewed the contract with Lake County already, and they're okay with that.
Okay.
Where we're having trouble, getting through with Portage County.
Maybe
We have a motion, maybe have a motion from the board here to request the prosecutor to
send a letter.
contact the Portage County prosecutor to begin, discussions on, how we can finalize this, to be done with it.
And follow an exit strategy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Rea?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we can hopefully get some kind of answers here moving forward, because we just want to get this put to rest. So, okay, let's see here. Hold session again next Tuesday. Other than that, is there any questions?
Yeah, you just indicated that there was a motion that was to be approved. Would someone please read that motion so that everyone here in attendance can identify what's going to happen next by that
So
motion?
we basically just made a motion to kind of, for Jerry to request the prosecutor to make a phone call, get in contact as a first step with the Portage County prosecutor to try to resolve this matter, in a diplomatic and simple way. So that's basically what it is.
Okay, so at this point, we're still at the talk negotiation
Yeah.
stage. Okay, and the contract itself, extending it, has that occurred yet to the prosecutor's office?
We extended one time already. And
Okay.
It's up on the 31st. As far as I'm concerned, we've complied with them of that 31st. I think that that's just the conversation we need to have, but at the end of the day, we just have to get some answers here, because we are truly in limbo, because
Yeah,
they refuse to
we truly
even
are.
communicate back to us, so, yeah.
Okay.
We'll give this a shot and see what happens.
But you have seen a copy of the Geauga prosecutor's letter too.
We signed it.
That's what you
We signed the
indicated,
letter
that you
to
signed
go
off on.
back, yes.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you for the clarification.
yep.
I think that's a couple weeks ago.
Chuck? Yeah, so I wanted to have some ADP folks here to answer any questions for the commissioners regarding the events that I know you're all aware of that occurred shortly after midnight, Thursday night going into Friday morning, when a product called CrowdStrike, actually the product name is called Falcon. It's an endpoint protection product used by, I think the estimate I last read was 8.5 million Windows workstations. Received a faulty update from the manufacturer. Those updates are automatically applied to workstations and servers throughout the world. And shortly thereafter, that push was done by the manufacturer. The early warning here in the county was within approximately an hour or so, the sheriff detected two of his servers having communication issues. And he made that known to Frank. Actually, he sent a cruiser, I think, to Frank's house.
Wake up?
Wake up, yeah. Within 9 minutes of that notification, we actually had tried to remotely access those servers. We were unable to do that. And so we decided, we called the ball at that point early in the morning hours that we needed to just bring everybody in. As we were looking at news briefings that were going on social media and a variety of other platforms, we recognized this would be global and that it would not be a trivial fix. Unfortunately, this particular product and this particular bug was not permitting anybody from remotely fixing the problem. I think that's what you're reading about with places like Delta Airlines. They actually have to put people on the machines to correct the issue and then let it heal itself once it gets a fresh update. So in Geauga's case, we have about 120 servers which had to manually be restarted. We had to go back into its safe mode, delete the corrupt file, have it request a updated new file, and then reboot that server, bring it back online. We did servers first. We were done with servers, and correct me if I'm wrong, by around 6 o'clock in the morning, servers were up and running. But workstations, which we have 1,200 of, had to be gone to station by station, and the same process had to be gone through. So virtually, we had every student, we had everybody who could, had two good hands and could type, basically going in and doing this function. We went department by department. We prioritized safety forces first. We then went triage down the pipeline. I'm happy to report that by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we had virtually the entire county operational. There were a couple outliers, people that didn't work on Friday, for example. We just kind of put them off. I think we handled them Monday morning when they came in. There were some other computers that perhaps were taken home and people hadn't brought them back in, so those are being remediated on a case-by-case basis. But I just wanted to open up the floor for the commissioners to be able to, I think, justifiably ask any questions about the product, about the remediation, and more importantly, about what actions we're going to do going forward so that this does not reoccur for the county. And understandingly, we're a very small piece of their pie when it comes to who was affected. When you're shutting down 3 major airlines and most Fortune 500 companies, I don't know that Geauga County is tops on their list of priority. It is on ours, but not necessarily on theirs. But I think we have a plan going forward to become, if it were, kind of a louder voice. And I've already communicated that to our prosecutor. He is offered to go through the Attorney General and perhaps look at class actioning like we did with the opioid crisis and try to recover some money for the county, because taxpayer funds were expended in order to fix this issue. And when you pay that kind of money for a product, you expect a certain performance, just like when you buy a car. And in this case, it's a manufacturer's defect. I think they have some liability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I was thinking the same thing as what was going on. And this was just affected Windows-based, maybe.
Yeah, Mac users and Linux users were not affected, only Windows.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's 8.5 million computers. So.
Yeah, and we're pretty heavy, I mean, we're almost entirely Windows, right?
Yeah, we have a couple of outliers which
Yeah.
are non-Windows based, but we even have some, what I call not really workstations that are Windows based. We have some meeting centers which are like kernels of Windows. Even the surfaces are affected by this.
Right.
So yeah, anything that's Windows branded. And Microsoft took a huge hit for this as well. They were beat up pretty hard in the news because
They were getting a lot of the blame.
exactly.
Yeah.
But they basically are just like Geauga County. They use that product.
They're paying for it. Right?
And so, there's going to be some blowback on CrowdStrike. Now, I will say CrowdStrike is the best in the world. I mean, you're buying the best product available to do this kind of function. That does not excuse, however, not having a system for rolling out
And I think there's some
updates.
argument to that. They're the biggest, for sure. They've got the market share. It sounds like they've squeezed out everybody else that's in this area from what at least the news was saying, that everybody's so highly relying on CrowdStrike, all these Fortune 500, and that was kind of the question, I think, from the government side, is like, going forward, like whatever the contingency is for the forward, for the future, is what, how do you stop something like this happening, putting all your eggs in one basket, with somebody like this, is there a way to diversify or spread the risk?
There is, but I think I don't want to confuse the popularity of a product with throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
So in this case, the same argument could be made about Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft is the dominant operating system in the world. So if Microsoft were to do something like this, they would be, taken over the coals and roasted, as they should be. I think the message here is this is just a poorly implemented manufacturing process, and they did not do their jobs. Why they don't use a test cell and why they don't stage pushes of releases is something they're going to have to answer to. And their CEO was roasted pretty heavily immediately after doing this. And I think he will continue to feel that pressure. I would be surprised if he survives this.
Yeah, and I don't know financially, like you said, they're gonna have to pay the piper
Yep.
at some point.
I mean, I liken him to the director of the Secret Service right now.
Yeah.
Two jobs I wouldn't want to have right now, and they're both justified
He
in
may be
having
in
that
that
screen.
seat soon enough.
Yeah.
So I noticed on our financials today that we did approve another payment renewal for CrowdStrike for $125,600 compared to last year's $114,000. You know, I'm sure there may be a good reason for the increase, but are you comfortable? Are you comfortable moving forward again with?
Well, as of
CrowdStrike?
today, I
Yeah.
am,
Okay.
but I will couch that by saying, I am encouraging the prosecutor to leverage Geauga with the rest of the Ohio entities who were affected. I think coming from the Attorney General of the state, they're going to have a lot louder voice than Geauga County arguing about $125,000.
Right.
I did a rough guess of what it potentially cost the county, and just looking at our certificate of estimated resources and dividing it by the number of hours in the day and not counting labor, but just looking at what it costs us to operate on a 24/7 basis, it cost us roughly $340,000 for that upset. That does not include labor. That is just what our budget burned in that window of time that we were unproductive. So that's substantial, but when you couple that with 88 counties and all the other entities who use this product, I think the Attorney General is going to take notice, and let's let him fight that fight. And you know, it doesn't cost us to pursue it. I think the opioid settlement was very profitable from the standpoint of return on investment of having to put lawyers on this. But you know, the prosecutor has been willing to take this on, and we will give him the technical data that he needs to argue our point, and then let's see where this goes. I am not questioning the quality of CrowdStrike's product. I'm questioning the quality of their pushing up this update. I think they failed their own system.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I think the confidence in that, you know, obviously they put out a good product for a reason, but part of their product are these software pushes, you know, and so, you know.
We're looking internally, is there some mechanism that we can put in place to house them for a period of hours?
Yeah.
To see what happens to other people? I mean, the best approach is let somebody else experience the problem.
So I guess, not to get too into the weeds on it, but so did they send out a software update, like, and we received it? Or does it automatically happen?
Because it's an agent that runs on the PCs, the PC requests it, and so it's through the internet. People that weren't on the internet didn't get it. So what we experienced was, if you took a computer home and it was not connected, it would not have gotten its update. If you waited until the remediation occurred and plugged it in, you would have gotten the clean update. So it's a matter of who was connected and when, and that's what I think Airport saw. They're always connected, and so consequently they...
It was kind of like hitting a light switch. Everybody. Boom.
I mean, yeah.
It wasn't like it kind of slowly rolled.
So, you know, from our position, not to get into the weeds, but I think it would be nice if we could establish some sort of a scheduler where we can say, look, we don't want you to just dump into our systems. We want to be able to set timers where we maybe invoke one function of one department and then do this in staged approaches hour by hour. This happened right at midnight, and like I said, by 1:20 is when the sheriff reported the issue. And 19 minutes later, Rob Bushman was deep into the servers.
So the sheriff, was he completely blind? I mean, he had no radios, nothing?
Well, no, his 911, I believe, went down. All of the server-based technology, Spillman went down.
Yeah.
All of the server-based technologies. So I guess that's the other argument here. I think our decision as a county 2 years ago to move from under-roof servers to cloud-based was one of the smartest things in hindsight that we could have ever done. Because it turned out that our servers that were cloud-based were only affected if they were using CrowdStrike remotely, and not all of them were. So for example, my email was up. I got an email at 2:03 a.m. from Kate Jacob, who was having computer problems, which is ironic. She was working on something that was due that day, and so she had to get on it early in the morning. So if it were not for us moving our email servers to the cloud, our email server would have been down. And as I talked to Frank and the team this morning about debriefing, we probably today wouldn't be up on email yet. because of how hard it is to bring those servers back online. So we dodged that bullet, but at the same time, I think you always walk away with these with lessons learned and what not to do going forward.
Yeah, certainly, you know, there's a lot of pros to today's day and age in IT and how heavily we rely on it, and it makes everything so convenient and wonderful, but then on the flip side, you know, something like this, you know, my he was always big on pen and paper, so he never got into the whole iPad thing, and I bought him one for Christmas, he wouldn't do it, so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking with a gentleman from a village who wanted to, they wanted to go under ADP, and the one councilman said, you know, I remember we should just go back to using spreadsheets or to paper spreadsheets and writing in our journals. And I said, well, I don't disagree that that is safer than computers when it comes to virusing, but is it fair to your constituents?
Right.
I mean, people want instantaneous information. Unfortunately, paper doesn't let you do that. And so we're in the environment that we're in, and I think we need to be best at it. And clearly, this was a misstep by CrowdStrike, and they're going to pay the price for it. And I think my duty is to protect the county as much as I
So
can.
is there other products out there that, or not to say that you throw this out because of this one incident, but are there comparable or competitive products?
Yeah, I believe there's a product called Sentinel. There's a couple of others that are commercially available that are competitors. I think we need to go down that road, but I don't think you do that the day of an upset. I think that's just
No,
not,
right.
you know.
It sounded like, you know, a lot of people, you know, like Fortune 500 companies and governments and everybody just really jumped head first in it. Maybe it's for good reason, maybe because they're a superior product, I don't know, but it's, you know, there was a lot, I was watching the news and you know, they brought up some good points as to, you know, how these guys got so big so fast with the market share, and, you know, are they that much better?
Well, I believe their technology is that much better,
Okay.
quite frankly, but that does not escape the requirements
Right.
of how to push out updates.
We appreciate everybody's help.
So, I mean, I brought the team, if you have any, I mean, these guys, the guys that actually did it, so I'm guessing here, I'm
Yeah.
spitballing. But if you have any specific questions, I believe everybody is reporting up. There may be one or two nodes that were not available for us, if that's correct. But we're talking handfuls, and we've reverted to our normal process now. People should call help desk, we'll send somebody out, and we'll take care of it. So we're not out in the public doing this proactively now. We were, though, until late Friday.
Yeah, thank you guys, appreciate your.
Yeah, thanks for the communication too.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Friday I was on the computer in the afternoon for about 3 or 4 hours, but at the time when I left, some of the computers, they couldn't make copies through the computer to the copy machine.
Right.
And is that all?
Yeah, that's been resolved. Scanning was an issue, printing was an issue, because those are on different servers. So those were brought up last because they're not mission critical. We brought business systems up first, workstations up second, and then all the peripherals up third. So it just, the triage plan that we have in place worked like clockwork. That's the good news. The bad news is we had to use our triage plan.
Well, I'm gonna compliment the whole team of IT, because you get up in the middle of the night and you start working to get this stuff straightened out. That's the dedication. You're like the fire department. You gotta put the fire out. So no matter what time of day, you have to be out there. So thanks for the fast response, and I really appreciate it.
Did they, last question, did CrowdStrike assist you in how to like bring it back on, like to fix it?
No.
No.
Actually, we determined the fix before CrowdStrike pushed it to social media.
Okay.
We just knew how it worked, and they knew they had to get into the safe mode and do it.
Correct it.
It was painstaking, yeah. I mean, I watched Rob sweating bullets in the basement, so he's not having a good time.
Hopefully you bought him some breakfast sandwiches.
We bought everybody lunch yesterday.
Yeah.
So, we waited until, make sure they ran for 24 hours.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Nothing else? All right. Other than that, then we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.